What's going on, fellow A-plusers? It is I, your more phenomenal host, as always, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new videos. We're set to go ahead and get into episode number 15 of Don Brothers that I got to admit, man, brought me this close to tears this week. My eyes were definitely watering just a little bit, especially with that just emotional reunion that we wind up getting towards the end of the episode. And if I could be honest, listen, I feel like this is not even the first time that Don Brothers has made me feel some type of way and get into my emotions a little bit. I can at least think of maybe one or two episodes that really kind of got that lump in my throat, if you will, choking up a bit like, why is this hitting me the way that it is? But the writing in this season has been stellar, man. I mean, it's been such a fantastic balance of everything that you could possibly ask for, from the action to the drama to the mystery to the humor elements in it, also taking risks, doing things unique. I mean, it's everything I personally could ask for in a Super Sentai season, and I've been so pleased with it, man. And again, I know I gush about it on a weekly basis, but when you're dishing out this level of content on a weekly basis, man, this is just top tier stuff. It's just top tier stuff. You got to give props where it's due, man, and I'm really enjoying it so far. But again, these are just simply my A-plus opinions. At the end of the day, though, guys, I want to know yours. 15 episodes into Don Brothers. What are you thinking so far, and what are your thoughts about this week's episode? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. And there are definitely a couple things we have to certainly get into, as really our Hitatsuki this particular week ends up being Kiji brother himself. That's right, Tsuyoshi is still feeling some type of way about Miho, the treatment of her having to be in a hospital, really putting all of himself, all of his emotions, feels very dependent on her, to me, if you ask me. I mean, listen, I love the fact that he pampers his woman. He certainly takes care of him, but it is one of those, takes care of her, but it definitely is one of those things where it feels like his confidence in himself solely comes from this one particular person. And so anything that happens to Miho for him just really puts him over the top. This is not our first time that we've seen him sort of dabble in this sort of deep emotions, if you will, them overtaking him. We saw a couple episodes prior, I think, when he actually tried to use all his points for good fortune, right, to try and outmatch Momotaro himself. By the end, we definitely got the opportunity to see the beginnings, if you will, the inklings of where we're at right now with the Hitatsuki for Kiji brother in here. And man, I really love the way that they handled it. First, him getting the opportunity to hang out with what was that his name, Tsubasa, Inu brother in here. I honestly thought this is the moment that they both recognize each other's girl, and then all hell breaks loose. And I initially thought that it certainly was. Props to the actor that plays Kiji brother, because I honestly thought that's exactly what Tsuyoshi actually wind up seeing. But unfortunately, it was more him being critical of the crazy sort of panda filters that Inu brother had on his phone, sort of thing. So I thought that was a funny moment, because they definitely got me there. But you get the opportunity to see Tsuyoshi push to his limit in here, tired of Miho certainly being hurt, and he turns into his Hitatsuki. And I gotta tell you, man, the fact that he faced off against his friends or his fellow companions early on and nobody knew who it was, I actually really appreciated the scene in the parking lot when Saru brother comes around the corner and he's like, "Oh, Tsuyoshi, did you see a Hitatsuki around here?" And he's just out of breath, exhausted, overtaken by emotions, right? And he has this creepy look in his eyes, and as he says, "I saw him," I don't know what, man, but it was just something really terrifying or just very creepy about that particular moment where he just yells out and finally turns into that Hitatsuki, if you will. So I thought it was a great moment, really well put together and things like that. So kind of crazy to have to see one of our Don brothers fall down that particular path and be overcome so much, where he actually winds up turning into an enemy. And you know what? He's lucky. He's lucky that Don Dragoku was certainly there to go ahead and save his ass and bring him back from that particular dimension, which, mind you, this is a huge eye-opener for us, right, to understand that there's actually an alternate universe, or I should say another universe we were always under the impression that once Sonoy or any of the Cerebrains destroyed these Hitatsukis, they were perished, they were done, they were gone for good, sort of thing. I mean, we even saw an image of one of the men like cracking, if you will, inside of like this glass. It kind of reminded me of like the Phantom Zone from Superman, but just this like glass, and he winds up shattering. And I'm like, oh, okay, that dude's dead. But apparently not. They're just simply taken to another universe where it's, or another dimension, where it seems like, I would assume, if you can get back there, you can maybe save the lives that you couldn't before. So I am kind of curious if that's something that might come up at some point in time. But getting back to Tsuyoshi, being lucky that Don Dragoku was there to go ahead and save him, I love his instant reaction after he is saved, turns back into a Hitsatsuki, gets his ass beat, and finally saved by Don Momotaro and Don Drago in here. I love his instant reaction of just crying and apologizing, right? Like it just feels like a Kiji brother reaction or response to what he certainly did, right? Just feeling extremely bad and just terrible for certainly his actions and what he did. But he's got some great companions around him, man, to certainly keep him on his feet and be very much more encouraging to him than he certainly is to himself. But I really appreciated the Tsuyoshi Hitsatsuki storyline that we wind up getting, and hopefully this will put him on a much different and better path going forward. I gotta think Homeboy's points are hopefully skyrocketed now for at least surviving that particular situation he found himself in. But great stuff there, man, great stuff there. But outside of that, let's actually go back to really the main topics in here, and really those are in fact the arrival finally of Don Dragoku, as we saw Jiro, I believe that's his civilian name, Jiro, in the previous episode. He does return in here once again to finally prove himself, along with the idea of our other fellow Don brothers really committing to do anything that they can to certainly go ahead and bring Momotaro back. Haruka is more passionate than anything and determined to certainly bring him back, and the fact that it worked but not all the way last time really cost them all their points, to the point of not just having points, but negative points. And we get a really grave warning from Kaido in here about bad things are about to happen to you. And I really did love the impact that we wind up seeing in here and showing the cost of it. Kiji brother experienced that cost in his own way. Saru brother now unfortunately can't tell haikus, not even wanting to live because it feels like that's his sole purpose. I mean, as a professor, right, he's got to have always that wisdom at his fingertips, and he can't even finish a poor haiku for himself. But really, I think the impactful one for me was certainly Haruka in here, getting the opportunity to see that she loses all her mobility, at least in her legs. She can't really walk or anything like that, so they wind up giving her a wheelchair to kind of move around in here. And I appreciated the fact that despite the idea that she was in a wheelchair, she still showed up to battle, right? She still just wheeled herself into battle, sort of thing, getting knocked over and pushed over whenever possible, sort of thing. But again, it just shows the determination and the fact that she's even willing to use more points, and Kaido having to let her know, like, listen, if you continue to use more points, especially in the situation that you're in, if it doesn't work again, you could die. And the fact that Haruka is willing to put her life on the line just really goes to show you, I think, the impact that Don Momotaro has had really on everybody, right? I mean, the fact that she's willing to risk her life in here, you know, telling off Don Dragoku about the idea of, like, you're not our leader, right? Feeling very like ownership of Momotaro as their leader, if you will. So I really appreciate seeing how far she's come, and I think she continues to realize just how special Don Momotaro is, not only to her, but clearly to the entire group in regards to keeping everybody together and truly being that center. You know, when he does wind up coming back and we do get to see Saru brother now finally getting to do his haikus, you know, the moment that we get between Haruka and Momotaro in here was a lot more emotional than I expected, and it wasn't even all from Haruka's side of things too. Momotaro was definitely getting pretty teary-eyed as well, and I do think that there's a sense of him understanding the sacrifices and the risks that his team wind up taking for him, right? Like, just seeing the fact that Haruka being immobile and the sacrifices and whatever she had to give up to certainly get him back, the fact that he refers to them as my companions, and she says, say it again, and he continues to say it again. It is like, for me, this is like the moment in the show where they're all fully on the same page in regards to finally being a team and understanding what comes with being the team. That Don Momotaro is the center, he is the sun, he is everybody's everything, and he needs that praise, right? Like, you, and for some reason, and listen, I don't want to go too much on a tangent here, but there are elements to this that feels very sort of Messiah-like, right? Like Momotaro as Jesus, and the Don brothers as sort of like his disciples. The fact that they are trusting in him so much, willing to give up so much for him, bowing to him in regards to praise, worship, but also giving your fealty to him, right? Surrendering to him, if you will. There is something very Messiah-like to it, and I wonder if they're doing that on purpose, because look, Don Momotaro does come across as almost too perfect of a guy. Can't lie, always honest, does the right thing, doesn't lift a punch or punch people back, right? Or hit other people, right? So it definitely feels like that element, and I felt it more than ever in this episode. My companions, say it again, my companions. And then he winds up giving her the encouraging words, if you will, in a sense of, get up, like, what are you doing? Don't just sit there, stand up, sort of thing. And again, it feels like that sense of a miracle just happened, right? Like, he's commanding her to get up. Haruka doesn't believe in herself because my legs don't work. He continues to tell her, rise, stand up, and she listens, and she eventually does. Like a freaking miracle just happened in front of everybody. I mean, the way that this wind up playing out just felt very Messiah-like, and I think it goes just to show you the importance of Don Momotaro and really how much Haruka is understanding that, how she truly cares about him in that sense, because I don't think it's anything more than that. I think it's just a deep appreciation for who he is as a person, and her even understanding how special he is, and understanding once he's gone how truly meaningful he certainly is to everybody in the entire group. So really great stuff, man. I mean, I kind of wish that they really embraced, instead of the whole tripping thing and fall into a brace, but it was actually kind of cute and adorable, and seeing Haruka kind of just close her eyes and being content and happy that Don Momotaro is back. And I think the idea of, again, not only are his companions treating him this way, but also the idea of Don Dragoku working alongside him seamlessly, in the sense of doing whatever he needs to appease and make Don Momotaro happy. I mean, the fact that he's always wanted to fight alongside him, he deeply believes that he is in fact Don Momotaro's successor, the next one up to bat, and at this point, who can really argue with the guy? The voices in his head certainly are telling the truth. I mean, I was going to make a Randy Orton joke for you wrestling fans out there, but I'm not going to do it. But the voices in his head clearly are saying something right, and I am kind of curious who the voices in his head are. I wonder if it's Jin that's somehow talking to him, if there's somebody else that we haven't been introduced to yet, right? I mean, we've got the administrator, we've got the guardian, we've got the council, we've got the voice. Like, I don't know who half these people are, so hopefully they start clarifying some things a little bit more. But to actually see it come to fruition, the fact of Don Dragoku, or Jiro's training all his life, finally paying off for this particular moment, I thought was so incredibly cool. And the fighting style with this spear is definitely unique. I feel like I haven't seen something like that in a while when it comes to Super Sentai. If there has been one, please let me know in the comments section. I'm drawing a blank right now in the idea of a big spear as your weapon like that, but I kind of dug all the moves and stuff. Like, just the action in here was pretty good, whether it was in the parking lot or even in the junkyard at the end, where he's like throwing the spears between the windshields, or the windshield or the windows of the cars and things like that. I thought it was actually a pretty cool fight sequence that we wind up having. but just the connection that he has with Jiro, with Momotaro in here is just seamless. I mean, you would think that these two have been practicing and training alongside and fighting alongside each other their whole entire life. I mean, who knows? Maybe there is some connection between them in some weird. I mean, look, they both came through some portal from the Don clan, it seems like, or at least I'm assuming so, because I believe he came down in a capsule. I can't remember if it was a peach capsule or not for Jiro, but there's definitely a connection there between those two, and the way that it showcases itself in the action in here was unbelievable. Like, I even love the idea of Jiro coming in with his staff and like protecting Don Momotaro, standing in front of the Hitatsuki's like whirlwind attack, and just the idea of Don Momotaro recognizing the fact that he was protecting him and even giving him his praise, right? Like, it took Haruka like 4 or 5 episodes, it feels like, for Don Momotaro to even recognize or feel like she's even there. But I think Jiro shows us exactly how that's done as Don Dragoku, and the idea of protecting him, being his shield. And I think, again, Don Momotaro is the sun. He is the universe. He is the center of everything. And Don Dragoku, I think, treated him the way that he certainly deserved to be treated, and it was a great combination to see those two actually make it work. And actually, this isn't the first time that they've met. I kind of really appreciated the flashback and getting the opportunity to see really where Jiro gets his inspiration from, by getting the opportunity to see somebody like Momotaro take on a squad of guys without lifting a finger. I mean, he gets his ass beat. I'm assuming it doesn't hurt Don Momotaro, despite the fact that he's all bruised, but the fact that nobody could put him down and take him out with this, being jumped by like 6, 7, 8, 9 guys, who knows, and just seeing them all purely exhausted, I gotta think that's pretty inspirational for somebody that is in the background and watching, you know what I'm saying? Like, seeing somebody do this and how they handle that situation, that would probably want to turn somebody to the superhero side of things, you know what I'm saying? Know that they could be a hero also. So I think it's pretty cool that Jiro has that, looks up to Don Momotaro in that way, and apparently is the future successor of this team if anything were to happen. But I really love what we wind up getting in here, man. I'm trying to see real quick in regards to some quick honorable mentions. I do want to bring up Sonoy just briefly, because I did find his appearance in here pretty interesting, in the sense that he finally admits to himself that he felt joy when Momotaro arrived briefly in the previous episode, when he saw that they actually managed to bring him back and then he vanishes again. Sonoy admits to himself that he felt a faint sense of joy, and even to the point of giving the Don brothers a chance to sort of rescue him. And I find this really interesting. This feels like Sonoy's in his feelings, like he misses his best friend all of a sudden, and seeing his return makes him a little happy. Listen, I don't care how he wants to spin this, in the sense of like, hey, I'm pleased to see Momotaro back because now I can battle again with honor. No, bro, you're just happy to see your friend back. You made a connection with somebody you didn't think you would make a connection with. You took advantage of them the cowardly way. They left, and now you feel some type of way about it. I get it. Like, I get the idea that it's probably an honor thing. Is it all an honor thing? No way, man. No way. There's a connection between these two. I haven't seen Momotaro and Sonoy talk to anybody the way that they talk with one another. And the fact that he feels joy, again, I think the idea of feeling joy because of the fact that you're like, you know what, this is a second opportunity I get to do it right by killing this man. And I just don't know if it's fully that way. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be absolutely be wrong. But I do feel like there is a connection that I definitely, as a viewer, wants to see continue to grow. I would be interested to see a confrontation between them now that they are, in fact, now that Momotaro's back, right? Like, for me, I feel like just based off of who these two characters are, I wonder if they would just bump into each other once again and just end up having a casual conversation about what happened between them. Almost like, I don't want to say like nothing happened, but just casually, just like, yeah, you killed me. You took advantage of my weakness. I can't lie. You know, like, I feel it's just going to feel like a casual conversation, but these two are just going to fall right back into what they were prior to finding out who each other really was. But I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. To me, again, it feels like he's trying to convince himself why he brought him back, in the sense of it's for honor, when I just feel like there's more to it. Like, you're in your feelings, Sonoy. It's okay. I get it, buddy. You found a friend. I get it. But yeah, man, other than that, stellar episode. The action was phenomenal, especially the special effects for the Savage Dragon Dance combo slash attack that we wind up getting at the very end, where you've got Momotaro was just the blade. Dragoku turns into the disco dragon, it looks like. I absolutely love the colors and the effects in here, man. Just splendid stuff. But guys, again, these are just simply my A+ opinions. I definitely want to know yours. What did you think about Don Brothers episode number 15? Please let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. And until next time, do me a big favor, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.